so excited for this. Meta just launched a brand new tool inside of Ads Manager that could completely change, it's going to completely change how you find creators, work with affiliates, work with influencers. If you've ever wasted a boatload of money working with the wrong influencer or spent too much time and money on outreach tactics, DMs, this tool is going to save you. And today I'm going to show you exactly how you can use it. I mean, what if you could find creators easily that will actually sell your product and actually get in front of the audience that you want to get in front of? No hours of DMs, limited wasted budget. That's exactly what Meta just made possible with this new creator marketplace. So by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to use Meta's new creator marketplace to find creators, run profitable paid ads, scale your e-com business, avoid wasting money on the wrong partnerships, and get after it. Let's get into it. Here we go. All right, I'm going to show you exactly where to find this first and foremost. So I'm just going to click into a random ad account. Okay, so now that I'm in a random account here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click over here to All Tools. Under All Tools, you're going to see under Engage Audience, you're going to see Creator Marketplace. This is where we want to click into. So this is what this looks like. It is pretty awesome. So I'm going to explain a bunch of the features in here, how you can use them, how you can navigate them easily to start getting these partnerships set up. Something that's pretty cool is just being able to use the search functionality to be able to search for keywords or search for particular creators. So for example, if your brand was in skincare, for example, you could look up things like skincare, and Meta would provide search recommendations as well as creator recommendations already in here. So think of the keywords that are relevant to your business. Let's say like car detailing products, things like that. It'll recommend creators based on those keywords, which is a really great place to start. Another place that I think is a really great place to start, and this might even honestly be the most important place to start, is to look at the recommended creators. So Meta will give you recommendations based on ads that you've run in the past, based on the people who are already engaging with your content. We'll provide recommendations on who you should potentially work with. Really good place to start, I think, if you don't necessarily know where to start in here, if you're not really sure how to use the search functionality, if you don't really have any creators that are currently interested in you, which is something I'm going to talk about as well. But something that I think is pretty awesome is the ability to create lists of creators. So let's say that you're running a particular marketing initiative or you're advertising a certain product that may only apply to a subset of creators when you're doing your research. What you can do is you can click this little icon here for any of these creators and click Save to List, and you can create individual lists. So if I clicked over here to lists, let's say, for example, I wanted to create a new list that was specific to, like this says skincare campaign. Let's say it's specific to I don't know skincare products.
2,000 years later.
My mother would not be proud of me for not being able to think.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Of a single skincare product. Let's say petroleum jelly. That's so dumb. So then you click save, and then you could go into your recommendations or search or wherever you're finding your creators on the marketplace and add them to the petroleum jelly list, because we want to help them, use them to help us sell more petroleum jelly. So that's pretty awesome. Another thing that you can start to look at, if you are a bigger brand, you probably have some creators that are already interested in working with you. So you can click this Interested Creators tab here to see some of the creators who are already interested in collaborating with you. And then you can kind of determine, based on the metrics that you can see here, consuming some of their content, does it make sense? Is it on brand to work with a creator like that? So it's pretty cool. So like there's a bunch in here that are already interested in working with the account that I'm in right now, which is pretty sweet. Another thing that you can do is under this campaigns, you can actually build out like a campaign shell and almost post it kind of like a Fiverr job or something like that, which is really cool. So you could click Get Started here, and under here you can literally set up a campaign or get something started here. So let's say the goal here is to increase sales, which if you're in e-com, this is going to be the typical goal that you're going to select. Now you can choose a couple things. Like I said, you can choose to be discoverable by creators. This would be almost like posting a job on Fiverr or Upwork saying, here's the details about the job, inquire if you're interested in, or if you fit this certain buy box. You can also do invite only. So if you've already had a previous conversation with a creator, now you're just building that campaign, you can then invite that creator that you've already spoken with or interacted with through the creator marketplace. In terms of compensation at the beginning, it makes you select whether you want it to be a fixed offer or not, because you can't change this once you move on from this step. So let's say it's like a flat rate, you're going to pay them $1,000 to work with you or to send you this creative, for example. Or it could be a negotiable thing where it's ongoing between you and the creator. So I'm not going to select that just for this instance, but let's click next here. Here you would put your campaign name. I would be descriptive here in terms of what the campaign is for, like say what the product is, maybe what the brand is, what the product is, and then what the goal of the campaign is, maybe like sales. Give a little description there. You'll put a product image here. You have to add an image to be able to click next here. I'm not going to go through this entire process, but that's what that would look like. You could just put in a random campaign name, description, cover image, and then kind of move on from there. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Petroleum Daily, brand, sales, selling, Petroleum Daily. I'll just add a random cover image. How about me and my father at the Ohio State game? That should be perfect. And then from here, you can kind of choose what type of creators that you want to work with. You can choose which type of creators can see it, whether they be male or female, what age they fall within, what follower count they fall within, who their target audience is, which is going to be really, really important. The most important thing of this is to not necessarily find people who just have a big audience, but one who have an engaged audience, and that engaged audience being in alignment with what your brand actually sells. So it'll give you an approximation of how many creators could potentially see the campaign once you put in all the details, but I'd recommend filling out all of these details, going from there, and then you can select your compensation and then you can paste it. But I'm not going to go through this process completely because I'm in a client ad account and don't want to share any information that I shouldn't be. So that's how you would set that up, which is pretty cool. You can also look at previous partnerships in here, which I think is important. If you've partnered with people in the past, you can see people who follow you. You can see people who've already tagged you in content. Another thing that's really valuable is looking at trends. So you can look at certain trends potentially within the platforms, within Facebook or Instagram, to get an idea of maybe it makes sense to, if there is something that's trending that kind of crosses paths, so to speak, with whatever industry you're in, it might make sense to find creators who are actively talking about those things and try to partner up with them that way. But that's cool. I think this is so awesome because it really does remove a lot of the tedious aspects of working with creators. If you've ever tried to put together an outreach strategy or sent a bunch of cold DMs, I'm sure you can resonate with this, but it kind of streamlines the entire process within Meta. You can communicate with them within here, you can find them in here, you can add them to your campaigns, you can set up a compensation structure with them in here. It makes things a lot easier and do it all within Meta, which is sick. Some brief recommendations and things that I would do. Like I said, an engaged audience is a lot more important than an audience who is not engaged. So the purpose of me saying this is you could see some people in here that are recommended, for example, for you to work with. And you could see that they might have a lot of followers, but their engagement rate might be really low, or the actual amount of people that they're reaching might be really low. So just because they have a high follower count doesn't necessarily mean that they have a lot of people actually interacting or a lot of people that their posts are actually reaching. So for example, let's take this Lise Garcia. She has 82,000 followers, but in terms of account reached, only 2,141. So I don't know math, maybe about 3 or 4% of her total followers are actually being reached, as well as a relatively low interaction rate, 3.2%. Her, for example, this Nikki Vittoria, she has 900K followers, but she's reaching 2.7 million. So she's reaching more people than she has followers. Her interaction rate is significantly high. Those are some things that I would definitely look out for, is look at how many accounts they're reaching versus just the sheer amount of followers that they have. And make sure people actually have an engaged audience. And then once you kind of find some, potentially add them to your list, I think it's definitely worth obviously looking through their content and making sure it actually aligns with your brand, your values, your tone, your voice, everything like that. And like if you're an American brand and you're only selling in America, for example, it might not make sense to work with people from India or other countries that are going to show up in the creator marketplace. You can obviously, when you go ahead and create a campaign, you can kind of narrow this down in terms of the types of people that you want to work with, but that's exactly how you would use this, how you would set things up. It's pretty sweet. So I hope you're trying this out. If you do have it, if you do have some budget to test this, UGC is going to be a big push. And something else that I would recommend is potentially even partnering with these individuals outside of just this platform and potentially running some new YouTube shorts. There's a new partnership ads feature on Google Ads for YouTube. And then maybe we can link that somewhere in this video. But yeah, it's pretty cool too. So I hope this helps you. To briefly recap, the creator marketplace fixes the biggest influencer problem, which is guessing. You can use it to browse, you can use it to filter, you can use it to find interested creators, you can test within it without wasting time and wasting budget either. So if you want to see how I combine creator ads with some amazing copywriting that I write using AI, click this here or here or here, I don't know, whatever the video is, click it, because I want you to know how to write an amazing copy to pair with the amazing ads that you now have with the creators that you're working with. Stop listening to me, go get after it.